Let's see how to change the spark plugs from this Hyundai i10. We gotta remove first the air filter housing, so let's disconnect it from here with a screwdriver in cross. You've got this special hose clamp. Next, with a 10mm socket, remove these 3 bolts. You've got one here, and one here. Let's disconnect it from here as well. Now you can already see the wires for each spark plug. I'm gonna use an air pump in order to spray out all the debris from here because this car is very dirty. If you have like pressurized air, that's even better. So I'm going to try with this thing and let's see. Now if you look closer, you can see that the coil packs are on the side here, are not on top like on most of the cars. So we've got here in order cylinder 1, cylinder 4, cylinder 3 and cylinder 2. I'm gonna start with cylinder number 1. Let's take out this spark plug wire. Also, it's important, guys, to do a resistance test on these spark plugs wires. Most of the times, if for example your car runs poorly because of the spark plugs, it might be the wires. So let's see how to do that. Alright, so now let's disconnect it from the coil pack as well. Alright, so I've got here the setup for testing up the wire, the spark plug wire. And if you are a beginner, you have to know that this test, when you do a bench test, is going to be 100% safe as long as you don't damage physically the part you are testing. As long as there is no electricity passing through the wire or the part you are testing, then you are 100% safe. I've got here the voltmeter, which is set it up to 20,000 ohms. The reason I didn't set it up to 2000 ohms is because we expect a higher resistance on this wire, a higher resistance than 2000 ohms. And that's why I chose the next highest value after 2000. So I've got here connected basically the terminal of the voltmeter to one end of the spark plug wire. And you have to make a good connection in there until the value is settled. So we've got 2350 ohms. And now one test you want to do while you keep an eye on your voltmeter is to check up the wires and try to move it in these joints and try to move the wire on these joints and see if the resistance is increasing, right? So as you can see, nothing is happening while I do that. You have to check it, especially on these connection points. So here we go, this spark plug wire looks good. Now before removing the spark plug, if you look inside the hole, you can see there are some debris in there and you don't want those to go inside the cylinder. So for that, use your pressurized air and remove those debris. Now you're gonna need a spark plug socket. This is a 16mm. As you can see, it has a magnet inside there to catch the spark plug. As you can see, this terminal is a little bit bented, which means that somebody reduced the gap between the middle pin and this terminal in order to create that proper spark, which means that these spark plugs were already warmed up. Usually the gap has to be between 0.6 and 0.9 millimeters. So just have a feeler gauge. I've got one here. So basically this spark plug has already too much gap on it, because I can almost fit in a 0.75 and a 0.8. It almost goes in there. When installing the new spark plug, just place it inside the socket like that and slowly insert it inside the hole. First you gotta tighten it by hand. Do not force the spark plug in there. Alright, now the torque spec is 15 foot-pounds, so I'm gonna put my torque wrench to 21 Newton meters. Of course, it's very important that the threads are dry and not with oil, because once you apply the torque spec with the oil on your threads, you're gonna tighten it more than usual. Now let's install back the spark plug wire. Just press it on the spark plug. We've got 1300 ohms. which is somewhere in the middle of the cylinder 2 and cylinder 4. The cylinder 2 had 1800, the cylinder 4 had 1100, so we are right on the spec. Now let's install back the air filter housing. Okay guys, so that was pretty much it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also check out the other videos I made about different cars or this car. For this one I'm gonna put a playlist in the description below. So stay tuned and I will see you soon.